I have downs on beer pong. Like I have downs, man. And then one time, my friend Ray, his friends would always say, "Yeah, you do."
Oh, like you have downs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got downs on beer pong. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do, you fucking lazy bum.
I've already known that.
Well, so this is...
Are we recording that part?
Yeah.
I knew you were.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you know me. I'm a sneaky piece of shit, you know?
guess.
Oh, shit.
Sneaky pieces of shit get you in trouble. That's how you poop your pants.
That's really true.
That's true. That is the definition of pooping your pants, actually.
Exactly. It was a sneaky piece of poop.
It was a sneaky pee.
All right, do the intro.
Well, hey everybody. It's the House of I podcast. If this is your first time,
piece of poo.
don't you ever speak like that to me again. It's been a while because we've been busy moving a house. We've been busy moving into a house.
We physically picked up the house and we moved it.
Takes time.
And this is a moment in our process of doing that where we can sit down and speak to our good friend and peer in the music industry or music business, Jordan Esker. What's up, dog?
That was him saying hi in his native language.
He used his nose to say hi.
57s are weird like that. You can really get on them. And just like...
I wish there was video right now.
Every musician knows this sound. It's the 57 capsule.
That sounds a lot like me scratching my balls.
Yeah. It's real consistent.
He just goes, yeah. He goes, that's
what always bothered me about the mics. There's that little capsule. It's weird. Oh, hi.
This is gonna be a podcast where you're just gonna hear me giggling a lot.
We have to paint the picture too. We're like full on rednecking this whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like the
right.
first thing you have to do when you move into a new house in Florida is like sit in the front,
drink beers.
And do a podcast.
and drink beers and
And
like
talk shit,
and
shoot
sit in
shit.
computer chairs.
And yell at anyone who drives by, "Hey, get off my lawn!"
Exactly. It's perfect. It's ideal.
But yeah, we just moved into a new house in Seminole Heights, and I'm fucking digging the shit out of it, man. It's there's a lot of construction going on right now. The flooring is being done, and but the handymen that we just hired, they are taking down the wall to our bedroom to make it bigger. So
Oh, nice. That's what's happening. Okay.
that's what's happening.
I
Yeah, because it
don't
was
know I don't know why you didn't ask what was happening.
I just saw stuff. I was like, oh, remodeling. Got it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's pretty much what's happening, yeah.
Because in between the kitchen and the room, which is the weirdest layout for a house, by the way, the main room.
You have to go through the kitchen to get to our master bedroom.
Yeah.
That is weird.
It is extremely. I've never seen that before, but yeah. So there's a little hallway in between the kitchen and the room, and that little hallway we decided we should knock that shit down so that the room can just be bigger. You know what I'm saying? It just made sense.
Yeah.
It seems like they were renting that out as just a single room kind of thing, and that's why it had its own entrance
That's
and
probably
things like that.
Yeah, but there was no door though. There's no door to the kitchen.
To the bedroom there was, though.
Oh,
you're
right.
You got a lot of windows in there. That's nice.
Yeah.
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 That little sunroom right here, we're sitting in front of the
Yeah.
front of the house, and it's 2, 4, 6, 8.
Windows.
That's
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of
It's
windows.
like a whole wall.
Yeah,
Windows are great for home value.
Are they really?
Don't you know? Yeah.
I didn't
Why?
know that.
Well, everyone wants windows. I mean, when your house is closed off and it's just a wall, it's like, wow, it's boring and
It's true.
depressing,
Yeah.
especially in Florida.
Yeah, you want to see the outdoors
Yeah.
and stuff.
Sun.
Yeah.
You want
Yeah.
the sun,
Yeah.
man.
Which we have a nice we have a nice spacious front yard, which I'm
Mhm.
definitely gonna
It's a great
enjoy.
layout. Yeah, I think it's a good
Thanks.
pick.
It
Thanks,
is
dog.
it's a good layout, but it's a weird one. It's a weird one. 'Cause
Weird is good.
A personality.
The shape of the house is just kind of weird. And all
As
front-
Mike walks by, he's like, "What the fuck are they doing?" Out there?"
Get out of here! No beer for you, flies.
I actually chugged that so
Sure.
that wouldn't
Oh,
happen.
okay, so they
that
can have
didn't
the rest.
matter. Yeah, flies trying to steal my fucking beer. This piece of shit flies. So you just released an album.
I did.
How did that
We
go,
did.
sir?
It was good. It was a lot of work. It was stressful.
Where can
last
you
week.
find that album?
If you just go to jordanesker.com, ESKER, or jordanesker.bandcamp.com if you want to get straight to where you can buy the vinyl or the T-shirts or CDs. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. You're. Oh, I wanted.
I'll see you later.
I thought
he's
about
outta
this
here.
yesterday when I was kind of like messaging you, and I was like, I don't want to get too sappy about it. This is actually on the plane ride back, but.
Oh yeah, you were thinking about death and shit, so you're.
Yeah. So I was thinking about I thought about. I was just like,
Shit.
what? Well, because I wanted to convey. People. I know people that know me. They know that that we hang out and that we play together and shit like that. But for those that may listen to this and might not know that, maybe from in Miami or whatever, because they're just not that involved or whatever. The relationship that has blossomed over the past 4 years almost, I think now 5 years.
Of what? What relationship?
Us.
Our relationship.
Oh yeah.
Has it been 4 or 5?
Yeah,
Feels shorter than
2014.
Oh,
End of 2014.
so
yeah.
4 years, yeah.
4 years, yeah. So we had now we share the same bass player.
Because he's a slut.
Yeah,
'cause
exactly.
Emmett's a little slut bag.
He's getting real loose.
That fucking he's a fucking fingering.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I tried that.
Fingering the bass.
I was gonna say he was like a fingering slut or something. But
Oh,
it just
He's a
went.
finger slut.
It went out of the way
Yeah.
there. But no, I kind of see you as a big brother in the music, and because you, any advice that you give me, and you give me a lot of advice, I always listen to it very, very intently.
Yeah.
And I go for it too.
I always have to apologize. I don't know if you see the text. I'll slaughter him on text. I'm like,
Yeah.
you should be doing this.
Yeah.
But it's stuff that I should be doing too. So you should have done.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I don't technically do that. It's just
I'm just saying you should. as I.
yeah.
No, I don't see the text, but he tells me all the time. He's
Yeah.
like, Jordan's yelling at me. because I haven't done
Jordan
this."
threatened to beat me
There's-
later. Okay, now we're back.
So I was talking to Lassie. I was talking to Emily at our last show, and I was telling him, I was like, sometimes there's things that I want to tell you guys, give you advice and things that I see you doing that I want to I was talking about that. I was like, I do that to House of I. I was like, I do that because I feel I don't know, you're two bands that are quality, you've got all the stuff, you sound good and you've got everything kind of figured out, except some of these BS things that we all have to do as being our own managers and whatnot. And I was like, I would tell you guys, I would hit you up more often about it, but I don't know you as well as them. But I was I always harangue Daniel about this stuff.
I mean, and I appreciate that because it's cool. I wish I could do the same for you, but you just know so much more than I do.
Well, it's just 'cause I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's
Sometimes you have to be.
I've learned.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from you, to be honest. I mean, even if you don't, things you might not even know. I'll just copy things that you do.
Yeah, dude. Well, that's
Yeah.
what I did when
Yeah.
I started. I feel I didn't really ever learn about anything until I moved back here, and then I had to start releasing my stuff. Because it was kind of the first time I really felt confident about something I was putting out. Was when I did Best Supporting Actor. So I was like, all right, I need to really get this out there. And I would just copy other people. I would who am I seeing everywhere?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, what are they doing? And I'm just gonna do exactly what they're doing. And it sucks because you won't get the same results when you copy people.
Right.
You'll get frustrated when you don't get the same results. But that's
Yeah,
always gonna happen.
It's
You're
a
not.
building process.
Yeah.
Too.
And you learn that, and you're like, oh, well, that's not really for me. And then you try something else. And then what I've been learning lately is just to if I get some crazy idea in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, I always thought this would be cool. Or so for example, when we did the release show, we had the guy, we had him playing harp in the other room, and that was partly inspired by in between bands. That was partly inspired by actually Laura. I saw Laura post a video of him.
Laura Kid Loki?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
She posted because he did the Red Light Cafe, and I saw her post a video because I'm always watching shit on a feed.
You asked him. to come?
Yeah, I hit him up on Instagram because I saw her video. I was like, wow, this is really good. I'm like, why haven't I ever heard of this dude? So I just hit him up on Instagram. I was like, hey, I've got this idea. Like, we're doing our album release show, and I want you to play like 20-minute sets, like in between each band, just to gloss over the setup times in between each band.
That's a really good idea.
But it's just like something I've thought of. I'm like, why can't you keep the flow going in a show? So we didn't have any house music the entire show.
That's good.
It was just like, if you want to keep hearing music, go in the
Go
other
over there.
room. If you
That's
want to
such a
talk,
good idea,
stay in this
man.
room. It ended up working.
Oh,
It was fun, but that was like something that was like a weird idea in the back of my head, and something it took me like a month to actually act on. Like, I got that idea because I saw him, and then because I've been to the Paper Crane and I saw them do the same thing at the Pleasures release show.
Okay.
And I saw them. They had Infinite Third, Billy. They had him playing on that same stage.
Billy Mays.
Billy Mays. And they had him playing in between each band. I was like, oh, cool. That's a cool way to break it up. And then I was like, our version of that would be maybe this dude who I've never talked to before, but I hit him up on Instagram. He's like, I'll do it.
That's
Yeah.
fucking
Like,
That worked out.
yeah, and then it worked out. And then, so
That's smart, man. That's really smart. That's extremely creative. I mean, it's a weird place that you have to tap into your mind
Right.
to do shit like that, because I feel like for us, like both of us as musicians, as artists, like our creativity really just kind of lends itself to the music and to the writing and stuff like that.
right.
To have to kind of like get outside of the box and do all the rest of the shit. It's hard, man.
Yeah, because you kind of think like, oh, I just want the music to speak for itself. But like, I feel like recently I've learned like that's kind of almost like selfish. Like, somebody recently was talking on a panel that we went to Florida Music Fest, and he was like, let's think about why like hip hop and EDM is doing so well right now in the live scene. Like, they are all about like collaborations, and they're all also, well, that's why they're doing well, like generally speaking, and like creatively and everything, making good songs. But they're also doing well in the live realm because like EDM live sets are designed to like make people dance. They're designed to make people like be really like
Yeah, draw 'em
interactive.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like with our kind of music, it's always just been like, here's this art piece. I hope you enjoy it. It's never been like about, I mean, it kind of has been in a way, like, but you have to like, I don't know, the bands that make it more immersive, that you have to spend a lot of money on like lights and stuff. So I'm trying to think of a way to like, how can I more cheaply and just like more accessibly like involve people in a set that isn't just like clap your hands now. Like, it's not.
I hate
like,
that.
Yeah, it's like, what else? But
Yeah.
then
hard. That's a hard thing to
Yeah.
figure out. I
Yeah.
thought
Because there's like extremes, right? Either you're the Flaming Lips,
yeah, right.
or it's the other extreme where you're nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Where
like,
you're just
yeah.
like, I'm playing and then that's it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's hard. Like, another weird thing that I acted on was when we did the anti-Valentine's Day show, and we had the people tell stories.
that was a good idea too.
Ended up being okay, but as always something I've thought of. I was like, we should just like, I want to have people just complain on the mic, like just come up and just like
That was a good
be like,
idea.
I had a bad day, like, like
that was a really good idea, and I feel like people were actually like, they like that. Like,
we
they
were
enjoyed
surprised
that.
at how many people acted on it.
Yeah.
Like, I think we had like 6 or 7 people come up and tell a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were really bad stories too.
Yeah, no, yeah, and people actually like
Yeah.
two or three of them were like stuff that they did.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
one guy was like, I cheated on my wife and that's it. And I was like, whoa, okay, you're not gonna win, but cool.
Thanks for sharing. that.
Well, actually, the girl that did win, it was a pretty bad like breakup story, but it was pretty trauma. It was like, it was intense.
Oh,
So,
that's not.
but
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
cool.
Hey, but it worked
Shared.
out.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. So stuff like that, it's something I've had ideas too. I can't remember them right now. 'Cause,
Sure.
does that happen to you when you get on a pod, or like when you start talking and you're like recording, you kind of blank out? Does that happen to you?
When, yeah, sure.
Yeah, like it happens to me when I'm doing this pod, even if I'm sober.
Well, because you're the leader, you have to lead it.
Yeah.
I just have to react.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
easier.
exactly. But like if I were to try and, because I guess what it is like I don't want to like have like dead air. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm just sitting trying to think. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying?
Sure.
So it's got to be at the top of my head. But regardless, so yeah, as I was explaining to you before, I've listened to your album a couple times now, and just in general, the sound is fucking. I think it sounds great. I listen to it in different environments as well. I listen to it in my car,
Yeah.
which I feel like a car is my favorite way to listen to music. But then
Oh,
with
yeah.
headphones, you can kind of hear where things are placed better, if that makes any
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. It's closer to your ears.
I always
Yeah.
test mixes like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll even do the one mic, iPhone test.
Oh,
Just put
yeah.
off I'll test my mixes. I'm like, this is how 95% of people are going to listen to this song. Let me test it here.
Yeah, I would run it through like the JBL, the fucking little speaker that we have.
Yeah. Oh,
The
yeah.
Bluetooth
A lot of
speakers,
people
stuff
use
like
those
that,
too.
yeah.
That's a good point.
So, but no, the sound in general it's really warm, and you guys did a good job of, I guess, like your use of dubbing guitars was done well. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So there's a few songs where you have heavy. There was what song is that? I can't think of the name. But there's a song where you have heavy distorted guitar, but you did it in a way where it's more like shoegazy, where it's not like in your face, but it's like ambience.
Was it Rosen?
Yes.
You talking about during the chorus?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the first chorus, right?
I believe so.
Like,
yeah.
with not confident in what I think. That,
yeah.
Right. So when we're doing that, I spent a lot of time on the guitars on that song.
Sorry, before you finish your thought,
Yeah.
do you mind if I you might have to send it to me, but do you mind if as
you
we
put
go
stuff.
speaking, if I can like play it on this?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And like talk over it. That'd be kind of cool.
Like kind of like so like for the audience, like as we go through songs, I can kind of play like little clips of it.
Yeah, you could chop
what
it
I'm
in.
saying?
Get an
Chop it
idea
in.
of what we're saying.
Totally,
like
Yeah,
what
so
we're
that they
talking
can hear
about.
it. Yeah.
So okay, so on that, on the chorus, pretty much what I did is one of my favorite things to do, like too, when I'm recording, is just like when I do all my guitars, like I'm at home and I'm just like, I'm changing. Like I think a big mistake a lot of bands do is like I always hate when they go into the studio and they got those big, like calendar-sized things of like X's, and it's like we did guitar for this song. We did like it'll be like a big, what I'm talking about?
Like a band that we currently share space with.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you have.
Where you got all the X's, and you're like, oh, we cross. Yeah, but they didn't do that. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yes, it did.
Yeah,
It's a
so I've
check-
seen that,
check.
but I don't know if they followed through on it. But I don't get why bands do that, because it's like you can't. Like that always pissed me off, because I'm like, every song doesn't need a rhythm guitar.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
just like, what does a song need? Why do you need that goddamn checklist? That's so stupid. Like you should be going and approaching every song and saying, does this song, like, what is the minimum amount of layers this song needs, and let's go with that. And like if John isn't playing guitar on the song, well, fuck him. He doesn't have to play guitar on the song.
Yeah.
He can go boop at 3:30, and then that's it.
all it needs. Yeah.
Yeah, like it doesn't. Every song doesn't have to, and that's why it was kind of nice to like be a solo artist in a way, because you're just putting layers in. And with a band, it's like, what am I gonna play? It's like, dude, the song. It's not about you. It's about the song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I liked with Rosen in the chorus. I liked to I think when we were like playing that, like I had demoed that song a while ago, and it was just like acoustic and like a drum beat and everything.
I might have heard that too.
Yeah, you did. You
Yeah.
had commented on it, and you were asking me about the drum machine, and it
Yeah.
was just it was like boom on Pro Tools. But anyway, we did when I did that, it was essentially I've got that lead guitar, which is what I play live. So it's got all the delay on it, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like a a bridge pickup type thing. And then I did do I got really specific about the tone with the distorted part, the distorted rhythm guitar, because I have like a plucked one. I actually did DI guitar for that part.
Really?
It's like a plucked. Yeah, I split it, so I did half DI, half amp.
Okay.
And I did like do gent, do gent, do dun, and I was playing it with my fingers and everything. So that was in there.
Was it DI clean or was it?
DI clean, yeah.
Okay.
And then the other half.
That's
was
cool.
DI
Actually, that's a
amp.
good idea.
Yeah,
That's a cool way to do
I
that.
wanted it to be that real like dry, kind of
Gives
80s
a good
style.
foundation, I think, too.
Yeah,
Like
and you
having
can
that
you
clean-
can hear the more acoustic-ish like the pluckiness
Yeah.
of it. And then in addition to that, I set my amp to a really specific setting where it was like it sounded like an amp dying essentially.
Okay.
So like, I just really cranked it. It was the AC-15, and then just turned it down as low as possible almost on the master. And then I mic'd it, probably just like a 57, just real simple, and then played that part. So it's got that distorted guitar, but it's like a scrappy distorted guitar in
Yeah.
the far in the background. It's just to fill like that sonic space.
That's cool. That's cool.
So it still sounds
Yeah.
chill, but it's
Yeah.
also filling that distorted
Yeah, you
space.
did that really well. Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause that's exactly like the way to explain it. Like it's chill. That part is very chill, but it's very like heavy.
and
At
it's
the same
yeah,
time.
it's maintaining the eeriness of the song.
That's just cool. That's a cool like blend of
Yeah,
shit.
and I actually ended up taking out. I don't know what the mixer did, but I ended up largely taking out that DI guitar because I rerouted it through the tonal recall that
That pedal.
that
Yeah, the
delay pedal I have,
Mhm.
and I just I rerouted it through there, and I messed with the like the delay knobs a ton, and so that's what all that stuff is. It's just, and then I think it's just purely that signal as far as the clean guitar goes.
That's pretty cool.
I think those are all the guitar layers. It's that, and then there's obviously we recorded a baby grand on there, on that song, and then what was really fun, and probably my favorite guitar part in the whole album is the verse after that, where we have the scratching on the strings.
Wait.
The verse after the and I can't help but be understand.
I have to hear it.
Yeah, there's like, well, you could play it, but
I will play it.
yeah, there's like I'm like scratching, and the mixer did a really cool thing with it because I was like, like scratching on when you scratch on a specific fret, you get like a harmonic
I know
sound.
exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
because I do it live. Yeah.
Okay, because I'm here thinking like there's notes, but no, it literally sound like I was wondering what the fuck that sound was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
It's
song.
just my thumb scratching on the E string.
Yeah, it sounds trippy.
Yeah. So what he took it, and I also, when I was recording, I had that really weak distorted setting still happening, and I had held a certain note, and I was like, ooh, I want it to be like a clock, like a down down. So I really like just do a bunch of weird shit when I record. So like I had my belt on, and I literally, for that down down in that part of the verse, I literally just was like humping my guitar. I was just like because it was like the perfect amount of percussion.
Yeah.
And the casino is so like, you do anything to it and it lights up.
It's got like crazy
It's
feedback
so hot.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I was doing that in that setting. I just, and what he did is he put like some like reverse delay on it, so it's like down. Yeah. I was, when I heard him like that setting, I was like, yes, that's amazing. Like, because I had just had it as a
it's a
by
straight
itself.
straightforward. Yeah.
And they feed into
cool.
each other, so the scratching and then he mixed them in a way so that they just like interlock. It's really cool.
Did you have something to say?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say that that reminds me a lot of Deerhoof. I don't know if you probably haven't listened to them much.
Not a ton, no.
They do weird shit like that too, where
Yeah.
it sounds like it's percussive, but it's really just like
A guitar.
weird. Like I'm assuming it's probably something similar to that because I didn't know that was a guitar until you just said that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah.
That was some weird like percussion.
It's
shit
like
that
if you
thing
know,
found.
I try to do a lot with guitar because it's such an expressive instrument because like you can actually touch the strings. Like my one clip with like keyboard is like you can't really get into it,
Yeah.
You can't do that much. You can only
You hit the keys softer or harder.
Right.
You hit the pedals.
And, like,
that's pretty much it.
you can get really experimental and like put your hands on it or like put stuff on the keys, but
Yeah,
like
but you can't make weird noises like that. For example.
no, and you can't like there's no pickup to adjust.
Yeah.
The whirly's been fun because I've been able to do some like stuff with the whirly where I'm like running it through pedals and stuff, but
Well, that's why synthesizers are awesome. 'Cause
True.
You can kind of do that with synths.
Yeah.
You kind of make weird fucking noises with the synths. They're like
good.
kind of like the same. They're like the keyboard version of a guitar, really.
yeah, that's a good
You can
point. It's
kind
very
of
true.
make it sound like a guitar too. if you
Oh,
wanted to.
totally.
Yeah.
That's the same thing with the
Yeah.
whirly.
Yeah.
That's why I've been loving the whirlies because it's like, if you drive it the right way, sometimes you really can't tell it's a whirly. It's like sounds like a guitar.
I wanted to ask you a specific question about this song because I was listening to your lyrics quite intently.
Was it Hero? The guitars on Hero?
Nope. I don't even want to talk about that. When Alone.
When you're without me there, meant so to you.
I don't think I've ever heard that song before.
Oh yeah, we played it for the first time live at our release show last week, actually.
It sounds like that song is about you and Stephanie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was because I was listening to it and I was just like,
Was your question, is it about you and Stephanie?
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
was
is.
like, there was no question there. what is going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no way.
So
around.
would you consider that like a love song?
No, I don't think any of the because so is No Point pretty much, but there's no. I think that's like to the point now. Like it's nice when you've been in a relationship as you guys have for a while. Like you can go beyond the just love song thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like there's so many of these like figuring shit out together moments that like are much more beautiful than just the love shit.
Yeah.
And like that's what I've that's a cool part about writing about it at that point is like I don't know, people get I think maybe disenchanted with if you're in love for a while where it's like, oh well, it's not the same as when it started, and it's like, no, it's not. So like you change your idea of what that is. And
Yeah.
well, you don't change your idea, but like you get more in depth and you realize all the different things you learn about a person and appreciate about a person. And it's more than that, it's not just...
You also grow with the person, like
Oh, yeah.
as your personality starts to grow and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Being in love is not just one thing, right? It's not just one part of it. It's everything. Like what happens when you guys are both under a stressful situation, what happens
Right.
when you're both happy, what happens when you're both sad, or when one of you is sad, or just like there's so many things. And when you can figure it out, it's good.
Right.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
It's tough too. I mean, even with Ellie being the drummer and stuff,
Mhm.
we haven't really talked about
This shit sucks.
our relationship on the podcast, but
You
yeah,
should.
we should. Yeah, it's still hard. I mean, being in a relationship with another person, it's always going to be difficult. There's always going to be things that you guys won't see eye to eye on, and
If it's not, then you're not talking about something.
yeah. And that's
Hmm.
I think that's the main issue in general, because you can also see any interaction you have with someone that's whether it be in the band or a friend of yours, like you can see that as a different type of relationship, right? And those always break down when you don't have communication.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we may have talked about, like, we had that last conversation we had was like 2 hours long.
We say like that should have been the podcast.
Yes.
It was you were out of town,
Yeah.
I think, and I was driving home from our show in April.
Yeah, the
At the Rock
Attic
Brothers.
At Rock, yep.
And I always want to hang out after shows. Like everyone in the band's always like, I'm gonna go home. I'm like, let's do stuff. Let's paint the town red. And like everyone's like,
Wants
no,
to
I'm gonna
paint the
go
town
home.
red.
That's why you should be in our band.
Yeah.
Man.
Okay, so you do that?
We hang.
Yeah, we always go hang. We always go out
Afterwards?
And we either go eat.
Oh, that's true. You
afterwards,
guys
or
will usually go eat.
Yeah.
That's true.
we do something.
That's the main thing we do. We go stuff our faces.
You get to eat, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always down,
Yeah.
honestly. It's
But-
yeah, but so we talked for like I was like driving home and we were talking, and then I think I always do this, like I'll have late night conversations.
Yeah.
So I just really like conversations are one of my favorite things in the world, really.
Yeah.
And so like I'll talk to people and I'm like driving home and then I'm like they're like it's like 3 a.m. Like, what are you doing right now? And I'm like, oh, I'm in my car. I've been in my car for the last hour and a half.
I asked you
They're
that
like,
question.
what? I'm like, well, I'm not going to go and like my house is, it's like a big hallway
Yeah.
pretty much. So like if I was talking in the house, like
It'd be loud
I
as
would
shit.
wake
Everyone.
Stephanie up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just, my car's fine.
That shit made me laugh, dude. I was like, I was like, you've gotten home already, right? You're like, yeah. I'm just sitting in my car. I'm like, oh shit.
I did that one time. A bunch of my friends came back. It was like me and three of my friends who I lived with for 2 years in college, and we were like, I was like, okay, we got home from the bar at my place, and I was like, we have to sit in my car, so we got in my van. We were just like sitting in my van and just like talking about stuff for like the next 30 minutes.
That's fucking cool, man. That's something I used to do when I was younger. Like me.
Oh yeah, because all the houses are off limit. People
Yeah.
are sleeping. You don't want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
parents and stuff like
we,
that.
we would. Well, we were lucky to be friends with her because she had an efficiency when we were
Kind of like the one back here.
Oh,
I had
nice.
something like that. So my mom lived in the main house, but my entrance was so secluded that,
Right.
we would
It's
miss
like
her a lot of
nothing.
the time. We would just go
Oh.
in there and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway.
and also like try to like very quietly go by because she's like super anti like any drugs or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Oh
so
yeah, if she was up, that would suck. We'd roll
Yeah.
up, and sometimes she'd be awake.
One of those lamos doesn't like heroin.
Who doesn't like
But
heroin
wait,
nowadays?
what were you gonna say before this?
Oh, you're talking about Win Alone.
Oh, Went Alone.
And
Yeah,
then-
yeah. Well, okay,
So we answered that question.
I fucking okay. So I know I texted you this the other day, but I really like listening to your album, and I really think this. I was like, I haven't met another artist that has like interested me like as much as your music does, because
That's cool.
I honestly like I really think this is not I'm not just saying this because you're my friend, but I think you are a great songwriter. I think you, like, to me, like, you're up there. Like, if I hadn't known you and I just listened to your music, I'd be like, wow, this guy is like a genius at writing music. I would say
Thanks,
that,
dude.
because I really think like what you do that I enjoy so much about your music is that you don't stick to one style, man, and you do that
Right.
so fucking well. Like,
Yeah, thanks.
it's fucking awesome, man.
You know, I actually realized, like last night, I was like thinking about what the hell our band name means.
Yeah.
And I do this a lot where, like, a lot of times I'll write a song, actually, and then I'll look back at it, like, years later. I'm like, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
But I'm also like, well, maybe it wasn't what I meant, but now it means this to me, and that's
That happens to me too,
cool. Yeah, like, even stuff I wrote when I was, like, 16 or
Yeah.
something. You'll look back, and then you'll be like, oh, that's better than I thought it was,
Yeah.
you know?
No, I swear to God, I have the same thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is that in the process of writing, you're just kind of like, I know what I want to talk about, for example, but I don't
Right.
really give it thought. I'm just kind of doing it.
Yeah, because
You
you're
know?
like, I think it's great to discover things while you're writing, which is why it's so important to not like doubt yourself. Which
Yeah.
obviously you're always going to doubt yourself, and you do it constantly especially while you're writing. You're like, is this really that good? But like when you're in that place where you're like, I don't know if this is like crazy or not.
Yeah.
Then that's the perfect place. That's like the perfect state of mind. Like even like anything in music, really, not to just make it too broad, but like today I drove to Temple Terrace, a 45-minute drive just to get that cassette deck.
Yeah.
I bought a technology from 1985.
Yeah.
It
You're
drove
such a
for
hipster, man.
Yeah, exactly. But then like I was thinking back in my head, I'm like, yeah, I feel like typically if I'm doing something that's crazy enough, then I'm probably doing something right.
Yeah,
know?
you're doing. I mean, yeah, you can.
Or not
you can,
right, but it's just gonna result in
No,
some
but
type of
it's
different outcome.
Yeah, it's different from the norm, and I think that's actually a great analogy to your music, because you do that with your music as well.
And that's what I was gonna say with 100%. Like when we first made it up, it's a ridiculous inside joke that resulted in the 100% name, but like essentially, I don't know. It could be understood as, you know, we might do anything when it comes to a genre,
Mhm.
like everything is.
100%.
Yeah, you could like be. People are like, does that mean like you're going real hard? I'm like, no. I mean that's actually I don't want anybody to think that, because that's like silly.
Yeah.
I hate people like, yeah, 100%. I'm going 100%. I'm like,
I
this
thought it
is
meant like you got like 100% of the band together. That's what I thought it meant.
Hey, that's so literal.
Yeah, it's like very literal. Like that's what I thought you
I
were meant
thought
by it. Like
literally,
Jordan,
that's what I
because
meant.
like when you play by yourself, you're just Jordan Esker. But when you play with them, you're Jordan Esker and the 100% of the
Right.
band. That's what I thought it was.
That was the main reason I did it. Did the and thing, because I was like,
Uh-huh.
sometimes I play solo.
Yeah.
So if I just call myself by my name when I play solo, then everyone knows. Oh,
Yeah.
he's solo.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when
Not the 100%.
yeah, exactly. And
Yeah.
not the 100%.
Yeah.
And when you do, and then when you have an and thing, then like someone that sees your name, they're like, they know you're with a band. You're not just a solo artist.
Yeah,
don't
I've
know.
seen this name before. It's attached to this band or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Right. They get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a
That's my chair.
lot of things that. Ooh, that shit. You throw some reverb on there.
Sample it.
we use that reference now all the time. Remember?
There's some reverb on it?
Well, no,
No,
sample
sample
it.
it.
Remember?
What?
Remember that?
What's that?
What was it like? I think I was recording with you, and you were like hitting the fucking space bar, and you're just like, "Oh, that's got good click to it." You're like, "Sample it." Remember that?
No, I don't.
remember?
Was this when we did Hero guitars?
No, it was before that.
Oh,
I
okay.
think so. Yeah.
When else did we record?
When did we? Maybe it was for that. Maybe no. It was for I knew whoever. I wish it went.
Oh, really?
I knew everyone. I wish I.
Everyone.
Wait, what's the name of the song?
I knew everyone.
I wish I did it.
I wish that everyone knew who I was.
Vincent calls it, I know who everyone is, hide and seek. I I know where everyone is.
I know where everyone is. You lose at hide and seek.
Yeah. He calls it that.
That's when that happened.
It's
You're just hitting the space bar on your computer, and you're like, oh, that has some.
That must have been when we were prepping to go over to Yoko Ono, though.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
funny.
And
I remember when this was
Sample
before
it.
Bowie died, but I remember when we were going to record that, I played you Moon Age Daydream solo, and I was like, do
Yes,
that.
yes.
Just do something like that.
Yep.
And you were like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And those.
And then I didn't do anything like
No,
that.
well, yeah, you shouldn't, but at least it gets you. I wanted to get you in the frame of mind.
It was
for-
more like I'm not that great.
Oh, whatever.
That
dude.
solo honestly isn't that good.
I know it's not.
I mean, it's good. It's one of my favorite solos ever, but it only because like I'm just I'm such a sucker for like
David Bowie.
for no, actually not really. I'm a sucker for solos that just like hang on the right note and just like bend the crap out of it.
I showed you
One of my other favorite solos is Concrete Jungle by Bob Marley.
Right.
I've definitely heard the song.
Yeah, it hangs on this note. I don't know. The whole solo is just so good, and it was a one take too.
Really?
It was a one take. It
He
was a
played that
studio
shit, right?
musician. Huh?
Oh, it was a studio guy?
No. Yeah, Bob didn't play it. Yeah,
Oh,
it was
I
a
thought
studio.
he played.
No, well, yeah, he plays guitar, but I don't think he really did solo stuff very much. I don't really know, honestly.
Yeah,
I thought,
I thought
like-
he was a rhythm guy.
Because I've seen, I
Yeah.
think I've seen live stuff, and I mean, maybe he learned the solos, but I remember seeing that he would play some of the stuff.
Oh, really?
Like Waiting in Vain, like I love the solo for that. Do
Yeah.
you know that song?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, for the I think he plays that solo.
There's
I'm pretty
some
sure.
really cool documentaries about like the studio process around Bob Marley stuff.
Mhm.
Like people don't realize, but like reggae as it is he is who he is because like it didn't exist as it does
Yeah.
until like he came along.
Yeah.
Like the reggae sound, like he
made that shit
did that
poppy,
shit.
right?
Yeah.
Popular.
well, yeah,
or he
like
kind of like was a pioneer, you're saying?
well because if you listen to like 1960s reggae, which is a whole like amazing like
That sounds
genre in
ridiculous.
itself. I mean,
1960s.
1960s reggae before it became what Bob Marley made it. Like Mark Ronson is all about that shit. I think that's where he gets his stuff from. But like that's an amazing genre. There's actually a band called the Frighteners who's recently put an album out. There's a whole story around it. The singer died, but they have an amazing rendition of like that genre that they did. They just copy it really well, and it sounds like when I first heard it, I'm like, oh, this is some band in the 60s that I never found. But they do a really good job of it. But yeah, outside of that, like, I don't know. I don't know how we got into Bob Marley, but
we were talking about
the solos.
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say before that? 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I know everyone was
Yeah, we kind of went off on a tangent.
solo.
Yeah, but I was just explaining the reference to the sample it.
Sample.
Reference.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
space bar. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. You do that.
I've heard that sampled in songs. Actually, I've heard the Mac space bar
What?
sampled in some songs. Yeah.
No,
some-
you have
Yeah, I
not.
have, and like some DJs or some. It might have been MIA. I can't remember. Somebody.
That's retarded. No offense. That's dumb.
I know MIA sampled the sound, the Mac when you're turning the volume up.
No? Oh,
It's
the. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's hysterical.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's you can only do that with electronic music, man. Like have you seen that Facebook? It's on Facebook that like I think he was a French guy, a French electronic music producer or whatever. He just like goes to like a fucking thrift store and just buys random items and uses them in songs. Have you
Really?
seen that?
No.
Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah, so he'll go and he'll just like literally hit things and be like, no, it's not a good pitch. No, it doesn't. Like he'll just hit like a pitcher. He'll hit like a clock. Like he'll just like tap things. Like it's hilarious.
Oh my! If music was my full-time thing, I would totally do that.
You would.
I
You're
would
such
totally
a
do that.
Fucking hipster.
Dude, like last night, did you see my Instagram story at all?
No.
So last night I was wanting to demo this song. Like I usually I'll have songs and be like, I really want to demo this song. It's not even ready. Like I had to write the lyrics. I'm like, dude, this song's not ready. Like just calm my ass down. But I wanted to oh, it's gone off my story now.
You know what's gonna be nice?
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Because you have this ability now at your house where you
What?
can just record like a full band
Yeah.
thing if you want to I'm gonna be able to do that as well.
Yeah,
now.
dude. Well, so with this, I didn't have my drum kit with me. I bought these hi-hats recently off of Craigslist. I've been like diving into like buying new studio shit now. Now that we're done with the album, I'm like, all right, $500.
Yeah, next
like,
thing.
Just like, yeah, I'm gonna. So like I
You have to make everything sound better.
exactly. You got to step it up.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta step it up.
But I'm also making it sound worse at the same time.
Okay.
So in a way, like worse. So I did I put like a E 609,
What is
the
that?
Sennheiser, the flat mic that you use on a guitar amp a lot.
Okay.
I put that on the ground and I taped it to the ground, and like you know how you always play drums and you'll like thud your heel on the ground.
Yeah.
Well, I got like I'm on a lifted house because it's an old house, so
Yeah.
it was like it was a good boom when you hit.
Okay.
So I just like hit my foot, and then I had the hi-hat there, and I was just playing with a stick. And then I was like, I need like a good because what is a snare? A snare is just like a really flammy sound, like a high-pitched flam sound.
Yeah, with
Like
like
a-
little beads. Yeah.
You know, because when you're hitting the snare, you're hitting the skin, but the snare itself is technically delayed from your initial hit.
Mhm.
It just happens so quickly you don't notice.
Yeah.
Right.
So I did I had like a shoebox with CDs in it, and then I put like paper on it. I had like a tissue paper. I put that on top, and then I taped a CD case to the top of that.
You were hitting
Well, I
that.
taped a CD case to the top of the box and put paper on top, and then I hit it with a stapler, because the stapler has that slappy sound. So that was my snare, and then I put like a bunch of I put a slapback delay on it too. And it sounds fine.
It sounds fine.
That was my.
Sounds fine.
It sounds fine. Oh yeah.
It's like you could do that shit,
Yeah.
like it's a home recording.
That's
It's-
Pink. I mean, Pink
fun.
Floyd did that with one of their albums.
Was it stapler?
No, they just did a
Oh.
bunch of weird.
Yeah, that's
stuff.
right.
Was it Uma Gamma? Was it
Wasn't
Uma
it a
Gamma?
horrible album?
I haven't listened to the whole thing.
I think
just-
their whole thing was like we're gonna make it out of like no instruments
Yep,
in the album.
Yep.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I
Yeah.
haven't listened to it yet. Though.
Yeah, I've listened to I think the first song, and I was like, no.
But you can that's how you get because nowadays it's all about like weird drum sounds.
Yeah.
Like no one wants organic drum sounds nowadays.
Really?
No, everyone wants like dirty everything.
Which
like
makes me sad because I like the sound of a good, just a good snare.
Sure, but if you layered it in with some other stuff, everyone loves snare with just a ton of high end rolled off. It's all if you listen to anything, I think it's because of hip hop, honestly.
Are you talking about kind of like the Tame Impala, kind of
Sure,
really
yeah,
compressed
totally.
snare? Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I get that.
And there's
like very electronic sounding. So
yeah,
even
exactly.
yeah.
Make a kit sound electronic, and when you want to make, because the snare drum is at the heart of every recording ever.
Yeah.
Your recording is totally going to be, it's going to sound a certain way purely because of the way your snare drum sounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, people don't realize it, but in rock music, your snare makes it sound one genre or the other.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That's how you know what decade it is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Oh yeah, this song sounds 60s. This song sounds.
Yeah, it's why? It's because the snare is if it's 70s, it's super muted and dry,
Right.
and if it's 80s, it's got this gated
The
reverb on it.
Yeah.
Like,
That's weird. That's a weird thing.
but the fun thing nowadays is everyone's mixing it up. So it's all the obviously it's happening in fashion too, but everything nowadays is about sampling from all these different decades
yeah.
and then making a new sound out of I don't know why people stopped at some point, but it's we're in the decade of mixing everything that existed.
Which makes sense because we're at a with technology now. You can do it, so why not do it? You know?
Mhm.
It's gonna be hard to find the next new thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which I mean, honestly, I couldn't tell
Well,
you.
and we've got to the point where sonically you can make something sound so amazing. We have everything we could possibly do that at some point. I remember Dave Pensato, who's an amazing mixer, and he actually does a lot of instructional videos on YouTube for helping other people learn how to mix and stuff. He had this theory. I was watching an old video of his, I think in 2006, kind of before garage rock really took over and everything. And he was talking about how where do we go from here? Okay, everyone's home mixing now. people are gonna take it the other direction. Like things sound so good that they're gonna make it sound worse.
Yeah.
And it's like
Lo-fi.
he was
That's
totally
what lo-fi
right.
is.
That's lo-fi.
Yeah.
He was totally right about the lo-fi revolution. It was happening at that time, but then it got big where like now like if you're trying to get on a Spotify playlist, you got to have like some element of lo-fi to you to like people like that's it's so
kinda,
hip.
It is. It's weird. It's weird because.
Well, we grew up with alternative rock, which was not about that at all. It was
No.
about like big,
Clear.
pure, clear.
Well, I mean, I don't like the, like popular alternative rock. The only thing maybe is like Radiohead. That's like the most popular alternative rock that I probably like.
I guess I get what you're saying, because on the other end, I like you like Nirvana. That's alternative.
That's not alternative. It's like grunge. That's
What do you mean by like popular alternative rock? Like
Like
That's what I'm trying to
Taking
get
Back
at.
Sunday or like.
That's alternative
I mean,
too, I guess.
Yeah, that's what
kind
it's
of. I guess
considered,
it's
eh?
become.
Yeah.
I don't even know where they are now though. They're just there for kind of like people trying to relive the
Relive
emo
those
days,
Yeah, that type
but-
of music.
which is kind of coming back honestly in its
The-
own
I guess
way.
I guess
Emo
that is
music.
what
Yeah.
would be considered alternative. Yeah.
Oh really? Okay.
When I was in high school,
I wouldn't think so either. To me.
when I was in high school, all my friends liked those type of bands, like August. What is it? August Burns.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
August Burns Red. Yeah.
Yeah, like that type. And I just never got
Hardcore.
into it. I was listening to like, 70s, and then I got into Radiohead and all that in high school. So it was like that was the newest stuff I was listening to. And then Tame Impala came into my my realm. And
Yeah.
But most of the bands that I listen to even now, they're bands that I've started listening to that are from like the early 2000s, like the Strokes.
Oh, okay.
I don't really listen. Like I haven't really heard a new band that's like really gotten
Blown
me.
you away.
Deerhoof is an old ass band. That's like one of my favorite bands now too. And they're like
They've
from-
been around for a while.
Yeah, they've been around since the 90s. Like there hasn't been a new band that's like no. I was gonna say Mac DeMarco, but he's kind of in the. I think
Did you
he's
get
like-
into him?
Yeah, I love him.
Oh, nice.
He's
Okay.
a great songwriter, man.
He is.
Yeah, I love.
Yeah,
his music.
dude.
Fucking
And he's
love
a
his
new
music.
type of artist too, where like he's just this like fuck boy.
Yeah.
Like he's a total fucker. It's awesome because like we needed somebody, and he's like a god in indie music.
Yeah.
I mean, he really is like the lo-fi king.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah,
like,
but you hear his like he's. I mean, not that he ripped off, but he's basically like John Lennon solo. You know what I'm saying? His music is very similar to
John
like
Lennon didn't sound like that. Though.
he kind of did. If you listen to a lot of
Yeah,
his,
but
like
his genre, he calls it jizz jazz.
who Mac?
Yeah.
Really?
Jizz
That's
jazz,
funny.
yeah.
Jizz jazz.
That's his thing. Like, I mean, he's kind of like that sound of like that super chorusy guitar and real like
the
real like
vibrato. So-
yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't know. I mean,
I get
John
what you're
Lennon's
saying, but I just can't imagine John Lennon made those sounds because he died.
Well, no, but he has multiple. He has
But I'm-
multiple solo albums out.
No, but I mean more of like just. He's obviously influenced by John Lennon, so he's probably what John Lennon would have been if he. had
I've
stuck
never
around.
thought of that, and I've listened to John Lennon's discography
He
thoroughly.
sounds. I mean, he sounds like Beatles to me.
I can see that, but
Yeah.
it's a little more jazzy. Like jazzy
I don't
chords.
catch that at all.
Well, I get what you mean. Like when you're an indie rock musician, you call jazz, but you've actually done jazz, so I know you don't. You think of jazz differently from like me.
Yeah, like jazz is like the closest thing I listen to that is jazz that would be not considered jazz is Deerhoof, really,
Oh,
because they do like
That's true,
weird
yeah.
time signatures, and the drummer doesn't really keep a straight 4/4. He'll fuck around a lot. And that's jazz, but it's just
Right.
done in like a rock setting. And they do
Huh.
a lot of weird chords that are dissonant, wherein Mac doesn't do dissonant chords.
yeah, true.
You know what I'm saying?
There's a
Yes, I know.
fly on my beer, and I'm pretty sure that fly is drunk.
Tell him to pay rent.
Like, I was following him, and he was
Pay
drinking
rent.
all of that beer that was on the edge of the can.
$800
What a
fly.
bastard.
Look at he's fucking shit faced. Absolutely.
And
Oh,
did you
man.
finish that beer?
BMI.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Good for you.
about a Yingling.
Yeah.
I can't fly away. Too drunk.
You want to talk about the guitars in Hero?
Every person knows they're the good guy up against the odds.
We can. We don't have to. I wasn't gonna bring that up.
Why weren't you gonna bring that up?
I don't
I'm
know.
curious as someone who played on someone else's recorded material because I've never done that.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel when you listen to that guitar?
How
'Cause-
does it feel?
You can cut that out.
No, I'm not.
Oh, good.
I'm gonna compress it.
Yeah, I put a shitload of delay on it. That'd be so good. That'd be crazy, man. So in the middle of it, like, if someone was just dozing off while listening to this, to be like, whoa!
What the fuck just happened?
Wow.
That's like some Radio Lab shit.
Yeah.
That's like shit that they do on Radio Lab.
It's true, they do, yeah.
They do weird shit like that. What? I'm sorry, your question
How does,
was?
how does it make you feel when you listen to the guitars in Hero? Since you played it. And Kenny played it.
I don't know, it's interesting. It's cool. Like,
Because we usually you listen to your own music, and you always have that filter that you can never get over, where you're like, oh, it's me, so you can never hear it like someone else does.
I think it's different because for me it's different because I played with you guys, so I can kind of always insert myself into your songs, to be honest, because I kind of know like what you dig. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like for example, like writing the guitar parts for that was super easy. So it was,
Okay.
it just
Yeah.
it just like I don't really see I know it's a different style, for example, maybe like from your, but we didn't really change the way we would write guitar parts. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, that was the whole point.
Yeah.
So you did it. You did your own.
Yeah. So we just kind of like
thing.
blended our like
Yeah, because I had
styles
no
together.
idea. I didn't give you guys any lead. I was just like, just think of it.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
So-
Is that how? It
I sent
ended up
you. I had made lead guitar parts for it myself,
happening? Okay.
and I just didn't really like what I did. They were just kind of felt stereotypical to me. So I took those out and I sent you a mix of just the drums,
And the acoustic, I remember.
the drums, acoustic bass, and the keyboard part.
Yeah. I mean, I think it sounds great.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I think it sounds really cool.
Yeah, it does.
And I think that especially for the chorus, like it's a nice little like melodic.
Yeah.
Because like your vocal part isn't necessarily like super
It's just
wordy.
yeah,
It's just
exactly.
like,
Spacious,
you know what I'm
right? You
saying?
needed something.
So like the guitar is kind of like lending or kind of filling that space. But yeah, no, I mean it came out really great.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's just cool to hear, because the thing is that we have the Beatles in common.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, at least for that chorus, I feel like at least Kenny's part
Yeah.
more than mine. Actually, no, yeah, definitely him more than me. Like he kind of like, that's very like, Beatle-esque, like jumpy kind of like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
it's almost like if Paul McCartney played guitar. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he would write that on the.
Though it's
bass.
funny that he did on the bridge. Kenny did the exact guitar part that I had actually recorded previously.
Oh really?
Yeah, his doom where he just strummed the notes.
Yeah, where it sounds very much
Doom,
like
doom,
I Want You, like the I Want You kind of like guitar.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
You know?
strumming pattern. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he did that, and I was like, I told him later, I was like, that's exactly what I put on the demo. Like,
That's
but
so
I didn't
cool.
send it to you guys.
Yeah,
I took
yeah.
it out, but yeah, I was
That's so
like, he's like,
cool.
yeah, it just seemed like it was right. I'm like, I guess, yeah.
Hey, you see, so it's like, yeah, we just
Yeah.
kind of we have similar thoughts, like
Mhm.
with when it comes to music. But
Yeah.
no, it is neat to hear how it came, especially like hearing the final draft and how it came along. It sounds really
After
sounds
the
really
mix,
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I felt the same way with I Knew, or
Yeah. I knew
Yeah,
everyone
I
was.
Knew Who Everyone Was.
Yeah.
I felt the same way.
Yeah.
I just felt like it's interesting to record a whole, like the whole part in one session rather than like split it up, because that's how I would have done it.
Yeah.
That's how I usually record stuff. I
Over
usually
various days and stuff.
well, not necessarily various days, but if I'm like the fact that I was switching effects,
Oh.
I would record those separately.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I
Which
usually
usually
do.
I would do,
Okay.
but for some reason
It worked well. I mean,
with
it
that
sounds
song,
fine.
yeah. With that, usually I would do that. I think we were recording in different studios, so it was different. They were limited on tracks, but I also was like, it'll be fine.
It sounded fine. You can do it.
I think it'll
You
work
can
for it.
get away with it. I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
if you really like pinpoint the sound that you want from your amp, you know what I'm saying? Like you really like
Right.
equalize it to what you want, you don't
Yeah.
need to worry about it, honestly.
Yeah.
But you have to do that. You have to sit there and fuck with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Make
yeah.
sure that you're, and now that I have the compression pedal, like that literally eliminates so many like frequencies that I don't want.
Oh,
You know
the
what I'm
SP.
saying?
The
Oh, I use
SP
that.
is so good, man.
Dude, do you have it on? When do you usually use it at all for like controlling effects at all or no?
It's at the beginning of my chain, so not really.
Oh, that's
I'll
weird.
use it.
Wow.
I'll use it to smooth out my and alter the dynamics of my fuzz pedal because it's before my fuzz.
Okay.
So I go into my buffer and then into my fuzz.
Okay.
And then into my compressor.
Okay.
So like it'll smooth out that, but like I'll use it for like when I want a really clean overdrive,
Yeah.
pretty much.
You use it kind of like more of an overdrive pedal than anything.
I really do.
Yeah, you really do. I use it more of
I have
like
I use like 6 pedals on my chain for like overdrive
yeah,
variances.
the OCD, right? You have the
The OCD, the compressor, the box of rock, which has both a really heavy overdrive and then it has a boost on it, which I use almost as an overdrive for a clean boost, and then the Deco, the
Yeah.
Strymon Deco has
That's a
overdrive
the delay,
channel
right?
too. Well, it's sort of. It's like a really short delay that works as 2 tape machines. Is
Okay.
what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
But I use it has a circuit fuzz for like
fuzz,
tape
yeah.
tape overdrive.
That's cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. So basically, yeah. I think that's funny that you say that because I really use the compression as like just like literally compress all my sound. Like I use it just specifically for that.
It's always on.
No. I
Oh,
can.
oh.
I've done that before for
but
songs.
so where is it in your chain?
It's right before the volume.
Was that last or first?
That is second to last.
Oh, okay.
So whenever, if
that makes sense too, though.
It's really useful for if you're really trying to control. Like it would be super useful for recording, like super
Yeah.
useful.
when
Just leave it on.
when I record bass in my demo at home,
Mhm.
I go through my pedal board,
Oh,
and
really?
then I go DI,
Okay.
and I actually have been running into the Deco. I've been running out of the Deco, so I get a stereo bass signal.
Oh, nice.
A lot of people do mono bass,
Yeah.
which makes sense. You should
Yeah, in
make
the middle.
Yeah, it should be there, but like I really am liking like the stereo bass, like phased sort
Yeah, that's
of
cool.
sound.
Yeah. No, it's a good idea. I do that too with, but I don't use a bass. I use a guitar, and I just put the whammy to 2 octaves down.
That's how you record bass?
That's how I record bass on
for your demos?
No, yeah, yes.
What?
Yep, and for like the rap stuff I'm doing with my brother.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. It sounds different. You know?
Yeah,
It
definitely.
doesn't sound like
Why not?
It sounds close enough to a bass, but it doesn't sound like a bass, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's cool.
And I use the compressor, like the compression pedal. to,
Yeah,
like,
I
just,
put it
like-
on a fast setting and
Mhm.
the
And it
high.
fucking, yeah, it fucking
That's cool.
yeah, it works really well, man.
And you're
like,
probably more stringy sounding too, I'd imagine, or
it's weird because I don't know how to explain it. I guess you would have to listen to it, but it's it's like you can't, like, I feel like if someone were to listen to it, they'd be like, that sounds like a bass, but I can't tell like exactly.
oh, that's perfect.
You know what I'm saying?
I should do that.
It's weird. It's a really weird. Do you have a pitch shift?
I have the Earthquaker devices.
Yeah,
pitch
you should
shifter.
try that shit out. Like usually like run your compression first, or I mean last in your chain.
Yeah.
And then run the octave afterwards and see how it sounds. Because, like, you can even, if you play with your fingers and not with the pick, when
Yeah.
you pluck it, you
Right.
can even get that weird, like, pop that doesn't pop sound.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Where it goes
yeah.
like, boom, boom, but then it just, like, controls it.
Right.
It's super weird. It's a weird sound.
Yeah.
And it happens, I use it because I use the... You know what I use it a lot for, the compression, honestly, is when I have arpeggio parts that I want to just make louder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it'll do that.
My finger in Philo. When we go into that instrumental part,
Mm-hmm.
right when we start into the what happens now, and then we go dun, dun, I kick on because I'm like
compression.
finger picking that
Yeah.
part, so I use a compressor there.
It'll boost it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's just like all the overtones are. That's what's great about compression is it takes the overtones and it
Puts them
squeezes
together,
them so
yeah.
you can hear it all, and so like all those just all those ring out and everything are all heard.
That song, I don't know if you did it on purpose.
Thanks.
Did you do that on purpose?
I did not. Am I thinking of the wrong song? Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong song. Platitudes.
Don't try to put it to him. You're not thinking about the outcome.
Oh, what Platitudes? Yeah, what about that? That's
That's
my favorite song on the
right?
album. Yeah.
Was that influenced by Paper Planes by MIA?
No,
Not
no,
at all.
but I see
You made
that.
it seem like you get it though.
I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's which actually is Straight to Hell by The Clash. Did you know that?
Is it?
No.
What, that
Yeah.
song? They sampled it?
Paper Planes. That's a sample of Straight to Hell by
That
The
scared
Clash.
the shit out of me.
Oh, the dog.
That legit scared the shit out of me.
Not to mention, it's a huge dog.
Yeah, I was just like,
Yeah.
With huge testicles.
Oh my god, yeah, with
Wow.
huge teeth.
I thought I was gonna get murked. But you were saying about Paper Planes, the original.
It's Straight to Hell by The Clash,
Oh.
which is on London Calling. It's on that album.
Go straight to hell, boy.
That sounds a lot like
Go
it.
straight to hell,
That does
boy.
sound like him.
Yeah, and there's like out of nowhere, and that song's like very repetitive, and out of nowhere they go into a bridge for like 4 bars,
Which is kind of like
and it's
that.
dun, 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 dun. Yeah, with the guitar part and the.
You know what? Now that you
It's all
say
in
that,
there.
I think I remember that now.
Yeah,
Yep, I think I remember.
and
that.
I had never heard that album before, and I was listening to that song
You're
one
like,
day,
Oh shit,
and I was
Oh
like,
my God,
"Oh, this is where it
that's
came
that
from."
song.
Yep, there it is. Right,
that's kind of cool.
but no, it wasn't. That song was.
It
that,
wasn't.
I very vividly remember writing that, and it was when I don't remember if it came first, but I was like, I don't know if it was chicken and the egg thing, but I got the DL4, and I was playing with the reverse thing, and I think I made something, I was playing some like chord pattern like that, and it made me think, for some reason to me it sounded like The Offspring, and I was like, ugh, I hate The Offspring. So I put the reverse on, and it like that happened. And so like I had to learn how to play that backwards because I was just screwing around and then ended up with that chord progression in reverse. So that's me playing through the DL4. That's what that reverse
which
sound
I
is.
figured.
Yeah.
Knowing you, I've
Probably
seen
should
you
have done
play.
it with tape, but yeah.
No, it sounds great.
Yeah,
It sounds
good.
great like that.
But it yeah, so that's what I did, and I think I had the idea for it, and I think I was gonna go somewhere, but I was like, I need to stay home and get this out. So I did that, and then I came up with like maybe some of the guitar parts and stuff, and then I shelved it for like a year.
Wow.
Yeah, like almost a year.
That's something I would do.
That was at my it was at my old apartment in Tampa
Oh shit.
that I made it up, and then when I moved and I got my home studio set up, I was like trying to revisit some shit because that's what I do when I don't have like any new ideas. I revisit like some old Pro Tools sessions where I had like a loop going.
And you try, and that was it.
Yeah, and that was one, and I was like, okay, I gotta make a vocal part for this, which is like how I like getting my vocal parts now is like I'll just play the loop and I'll be like, make something. Yeah, just start, and I'm like, I want something like kind of like dancey. Yeah, I want it to be like dancey, and I want it to be like kind of like I was like really into like I have this whole thing where I'm like yacht rock is coming back, so I'm like I wanted it to kind of sound like yacht rocky, and I wanted it to be like kind of like cheesy because like I'm always trying to put like I want like like 15% of my music, 15% of every song should sound like a little bit cheesy.
Oh, let me save it. I should be able to save it now.
Oh, save.
Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, because I think maybe not Kenny. Well, the thing with Kenny is that the way he writes is I think he typically writes guitar first.
Yeah.
And
Always.
then he puts on.
Always.
I think so.
Oh.
I think that's how it always. I don't think he changes it up. I think when he's inspired by something, he still writes the guitar part first.
Oh.
He doesn't. I don't think he changes that. I don't think he.
Wow.
Yeah, which is, there's I have a couple people in my life that I consider to be just amazing songwriters. There's you, there's Kenny, and there's my boy Serge. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
people that I
okay.
know. I'm I want to find more people. I think Last You might be in there soon too.
Yeah.
Because I really like their stuff too. But yeah, there. It's kind of I'm kind of envious of that, where he can literally come up with a great song and do it the same way he did the last one, and it still sounds different. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
To me,
But
yeah.
he's just like that. Just happens with him. He just kind of like does it, and it's
Huh.
upsetting to me. because I have to like change. You know, I have to like
You get so mad.
I have to think about the way I'm gonna write the song. I have to think about the setting I want for the song. I have to think about the theme of the song.
Maybe you don't though.
Yeah, but that's just the way my mind works. I won't like I've tried that before where I'll try and just do something based off of just like off cuff, and most of the time it's it's trash to me at least. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, you are your first filter, so yeah. But
I'm a lot better at writing with someone. Like if someone were to approach me with something, I'm really good at like adding to it because I feel like I'm really good at doing different things. You know what I'm saying? Like I can play any style.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? You give me like, oh, do this. I'll be like, I got you. I know
But
what that
that's
sounds like.
exactly why I hit you guys up for the song, because I was like, they're gonna do something that I would have never have thought of at all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So.
But what was I saying before that? Before I went into the whole songwriter thing.
You're talking about platitudes.
Because you were talking about the way that you made that song. Yeah, I don't I'm similar in that sense, but yeah, it's what I was saying. It's difficult for me to like finish a song out.
It's weird, but like something that's gotten in the way of my songwriting recently is like producing. Like I've gotten really obsessed with like the way things sound and like like layering things. Like I was talking about drum sounds earlier, and I'm like really into like what should the drum sound be? Because like I'm a drummer at first, I'm a drummer by trade, but like I don't think about like sometimes when we get to recording, it's like drums, like we got a good drum sound somewhere and that's it. And I'm like, I want to like tailor the drum sound. Like I want to spend as much time on the drum sound as I do on the guitar sound, and it's kind of harder to just logistically, it's harder to do that.
Yeah.
So I want to, for the next thing, do like, really like make sure the drum sound is very specific for every song, so that because it's something I've always wanted to do, but I guess I've just never had the luxury or something. I don't know.
Well, you have to
It's
also.
difficult, man. That's difficult.
Yeah, because it's it's so hard to just get the drum sound right.
When we're saying
be in the right room.
it's an instrument where if you move it from your car in front of the studio into the studio,
True.
it changes the sound. And
Yeah.
it's just like,
Temperature.
what am I supposed to do with that? Like, how am I gonna ever figure something like that out?
Yeah.
That's why
it's its own thing.
technology is great, because it makes that accessible. You can kind of figure out the sound on your own, just by using technology. But at the same
True.
time, it's not as organic. I mean, like for example, the drums on Surfer Rosa, for the Pixies, it's like they were literally what is it? They recorded that album in like
in
a
the
locker room. Yeah,
In the locker
and it's
room.
like you can't get that anywhere else. Like he doesn't
No.
sound like that live.
Yeah,
you know
even
what I'm
live, it
saying?
doesn't sound
No.
like that.
But it's a fucking great drum sound. Like the whole album is recorded like that. They didn't change it at all.
A locker
Yeah,
room. That's
he
great.
ripped
Locker
through.
room,
He
yeah.
ripped through the whole songs, like just
Dang.
like that.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
And it's like that's cool. Like that's, and it's your album is extremely cohesive.
That's it. It's so weird to me that it has
It
become
came out that way.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably because the person that mixed it. That's a big.
Yes,
part of
and that's
it.
important.
Yeah.
And
Even
that's
if you recorded it in different spots. or
different,
whatever.
3 different studios. Well, 4 when it comes to the drums. Those drums were done across 4 different studios.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I thought you recorded everything at Yoko.
No, we
Oh.
did Shelf Life and Platitudes at Yoko, bass and drums,
Why did you do different places for?
because I had different ideas for the way every drum sound should sound, and I knew Yoko would do the right thing for so like I was kind of trying to do it this time around, but like I still don't feel like it wasn't quite there.
That's interesting.
Like Yoko, I felt like Shelf Life and Platitudes were just like those songs have something in common, so I was like, I feel like those will do well, go to tape, and
Interesting.
small room.
You didn't record everything on tape?
No, those are the only 2 songs. Just the drums and bass are on
Oh,
tape.
really?
Yeah, I mean, unless the
The
mixer.
whole song sounds like it is though. It has that warmth to it.
Yeah, because you got the bass and drums, and that's so much. That's everything from the bottom of the listening frequency all the way up to almost 1K. So, when it comes to high frequency, the ear is less discriminating on feel.
Wait, so you recorded the drums and bass all on tape? All the songs?
No, just those
Just
2
those
songs.
2 songs. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
And
Like the
then-
whole album sounds like it was recorded on tape.
Oh no.
It's got that feel.
Philo and the next 2 songs, Philo and Sore Winter, those were done the drums and bass at Dark Matter in St. Pete, and then
Oh, they hit us up to record there too.
oh really? It hit you
Yeah.
up?
But we were like done with the album. We were
Oh,
like,
true, yeah.
We're like, no, we're not.
They're good though. It's a good place. They're good. Very efficient, and then When Alone was entirely at my house.
Why don't you do everything yourself, man? What's up with that?
I just wanted the I wasn't like so with When Alone and Ideal State were the drums and bass were at my house / we did bass at the studio or at the recordings practice space. Yeah, but I did the drums in my family room for those songs, but I wanted them to sound like that because When Alone has so much room reverb.
Yeah.
And that's all the room reverb in my family room and everything. So I just wanted it to sound like my family room.
Yeah. I guess it's just so common for albums to be recorded in the same place, at least the very foundation of them. That's a very common
Sure.
practice. You know, a band goes and they rent an entire house. They don't leave
Right.
there for like 3 months, and then they come out with an album.
Right.
So I guess that's why he's asking that. But I would totally understand where you're just like, no, I don't want this song recorded here. I want it recorded over there.
Yeah, it's
'cause I
like-
know it'll sound better.
It's like if you switch, you're not going to play the same guitar in every song. So like if you switch guitars, why wouldn't you switch snare drums? And at that point, why wouldn't you switch the room?
Yeah.
You're like,
Well, I guess my question is more towards like I haven't found someone that I trust that much. Maybe you actually. You might be the only person that I
To-
trust that much to actually like handle my music.
sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Well, and I don't trust anybody with, there's certain things that I know what I'm good at recording and I'm not good at recording.
Yeah.
And I'm good at recording bass. I'm good at mixing bass. And I'm good at recording guitars. And vocals, for some reason, I've never like felt like that precious about. I'm like, I don't know, you put up a good condenser mic and I always
Just get it done.
sing.
Yeah, you call it.
Yeah, so like I feel confident about certain things, but when it comes to like I wanted like some of the songs required a really good big drum sound, and I just like didn't have the equipment or the room to do that.
Yeah.
With When Alone and Ideal State though, I wanted those to sound like very like bare and like small. I wanted them to sound like very small and humble, so I did them in my family room. I knew I could do a humble sounding kit.
Okay.
But if we wanted like Rosen, like I couldn't have made those drums sound like that in my family room with my gear and
Yeah.
knowledge and everything. So I know at what point now, because I've done so much recording, I know at what point I'm limited and I know at what point I'm going to need help. And
That makes sense.
How did you know that those were the right places to go to?
I knew the room. Well, I had never been to Dark Matter, but we have recorded with, I had recorded a bunch with Black Key from producing there for other people.
Oh, okay.
And so I knew what that room sounded like, and I knew what kind of stuff you get
That
out of
was gonna
there.
work.
Yeah, I knew it was going to work with certain songs because I thought about the way the song should sound in my head. And then I didn't know what Dark Matter would sound like, but it seemed like a good place, and I was like, yeah, let's try it. I knew what the room looked like, and usually when I look at a room, I'm like, okay, it's probably going to sound like this.
Okay.
And I wanted it to be kind of boxy, and I'm like, I think it's going to sound a little boxy here, and so you have like low ceilings.
Interesting.
And so I was like, I think that'll work for these two songs.
I haven't gotten there at all with recording music.
Like thinking about the way it could and should sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you know what? My default is I can do that in the program. You know, I can make it sound like that in the program.
I always get into this with him and Kenny.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just like no. The idea is to record it as close as possible to that.
Exactly.
Already, and then tweak things so to get it even closer.
Right.
Not to record it some way, because then you're sounding generic, right? Because then you're forced to use that reverb. You're forced to use.
Yeah, and how many other people use that reverb? Because
That's
it's
exactly
standard
it.
Pro Tools reverb.
So you go to the room or you go to the mic that
Right.
makes it sound like that already, and then you take it from there.
It's like a shitty, out of tune, upright piano will always sound better than a plug-in if it's right for the song. Unless you have like a piano ballad.
I get exactly
yeah.
what you're saying for sure. I
Yeah,
gotta have that
because
all
it's
day.
yours. It's unique, and someone, you know, if it, as long as you got to always write and use your ear, because as long as you know it works for the song, that's all that matters. It's all context.
Yeah.
Because I want like my ultimate goal ever, because it's the reason I started playing and what motivated me when I learned how to play, was just like I want someone to I want some like 12-year-old kid to not be able to figure out how I did that.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I want
cool.
some kid to
Yeah.
be like, wow, how the hell did he do that?
Yeah.
So that they will like strive and learn and be like, I need to learn how to do that. Like and then I want them to get to the point where it's like, that was stupid. I can do better.
Yeah, for sure.
That is cool.
Because it should always get better.
Yeah.
I guess I don't listen to music like that is what it is. I don't.
Yeah.
Like I listen to it solely for like
The product, the song.
the song,
Yeah.
the parts, the melodies and stuff.
Yeah. But if you're into Radiohead, I mean, that's 50% of it.
Yeah, but I get this is weird. This is a weird thing. I get like I don't question like how they did it. I just kind of guess like I'm like that sounds like how they did that. You know what I'm saying? Does that make any sense? Like I'm not like
And you're okay with that though.
yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being like, for example, for In Rainbows, like
Uh-huh.
they obviously recorded that album in like a dope ass studio.
Right.
Like everything is super crisp, super clear.
Sure,
like they
clean.
probably like did multiple takes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like dead, like no like no space
Yeah,
at all.
at
Like
all,
everything
yeah.
was super dead.
Yeah.
And then you have like the complete opposite with like King of Limbs, where it's very open. It sounds almost like a forest, like they
Yeah.
recorded like in the forest or something
That's
like that.
true.
Just very
And it's
open
like-
room, yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I get that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's cool. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But it's not. I'm not like, or like for example, their newest album, A Moonshaped Pool, where they recorded everything on tape. I'm like, yeah, that's that
Oh,
sound.
they did.
Yeah, I'm
with
like,
that
I
one.
get it. Yeah, but I'm not like questioning how they did it. I mean, I don't know. I'm just like for me, it's more about the parts themselves, like the chord progressions, the
Sure.
melody.
Makes sense.
Like if anything, I'm like, how did they do that effect? You know what I'm saying? Like
Well,
that
I guess
weird
that's
effect.
where my head was going to, because it's not only the room, but still it's, I mean, I think it would happen a lot where you'd be like, how did they do that in general? Like, I'm not talking about the room. I'm not talking about how it was recorded. That sounds wild. And how did they do it in general?
I mean, I think that happened a lot with the album, with our album, like where I was trying to emulate things,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't think so much of because we were kind of limited to how we could do it. I guess if
Right.
I could do what you did, then I probably think more about it.
Well, and honestly, like the limitations, we didn't have to do all the songs in those other studios. In a way, I
No, you
mean,
didn't.
we also didn't have to have a total pro mixer do the song, do all the songs. But I don't know. I don't know what it would have sounded like without that. But
And if you like how it sounds, why would you go?
yeah, yeah. So
No.
it kind of comes back to the whole thing. Like
Exactly.
you can't say either way. However, I don't know. I'm really into that as well, though. Like how every song is crafted and every aspect of it. And what's usually hard for me is sometimes I'll get a song idea and I hear the whole thing. Like I hear the whole, like even
Everything.
the mastering. Like I hear it all, and I'm
Yeah.
like, there's no way I could capture that.
Yeah.
It's absolutely impossible. I cannot capture what is going on right now. Like I even hear like the harmonics going on with some like synth that some synth sound I've never heard before, and I'm like, fuck, this is gone.
That
Like there's
doesn't-
no way.
That doesn't happen.
And sometimes it just happens, and I'm like,
No.
what do I do about
That sucks.
this?
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's like that. It's a lot of times like really the songs I write are just inspired by initial song ideas I had that I'm just trying to capture. And
That's
it's gonna be
actually
gone.
that's interesting. I feel like I might probably progress, because the thing is like this is also your second album. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the way you've always thought.
No.
Okay, so it's probably I'm sure maybe that'll probably be my next step. In
Well, maybe. I mean, because like I didn't even really understand what tone was, and like Phil, my roommate, who pretty much engineered and produced Best Supporting Actor,
Mhm.
like he taught me pretty much everything I know about recording from the start.
Okay.
He taught me like how to properly layer. He's really into like layering guitars and everything. When we would record together, we would like put like 9 guitar layers on shit. Like we were crazy.
That shit sounds so
Yeah,
good.
it's so thick, man. It's because it's 5 acoustic guitars hitting a open D chord. That's why. So like, yeah, we so we would like, we got really into that, and so he showed me like basically everything I know about, at least at the beginning, and then I've learned it since. But it wasn't until like really like once you start recording with that in mind, be like, okay, how should this sound? Where should I put the mic for this specific part? Then you start hearing it in other music, and you're like, oh, I bet they did that.
Yeah.
And even if you're completely wrong, like you're still thinking of a new way
Yeah.
that you probably could like, oh, they probably did that. Maybe it sounds like the 57 is like 3 feet away off axis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
or they would be like, oh shit, we could have done it like that, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's all perspective. It's with sound and where you're placing mics. It's you could make one amp, one mic sound 50 different ways.
Yeah.
Honestly.
And that
it's
mic,
overwhelming. If you really think about it, you might get overwhelmed. You're like, oh my god, no,
Yeah.
I can't do that.
but like if you're chasing a sound in your head, which is always important, that like I like to write with my head and produce with my head, because if you're trying to just try new shit all the time while you're recording a song, you'll never stop, because like, and you won't actually reach a point where it sounds good. If you chase a sound that's in your head and you're trying to get to a target, then you're actually going to make a well layered song. 'Cause if you think about the layers in your head ahead of time, like the most clear space where you can possibly write or produce from is from imagining the song in your head.
Right.
And if you can do that and think like, oh, the bass needs to have a double track sound on it, and then if it's got that, then the guitar doesn't need to be that busy. Maybe it can just kind of like, have its own delay space, or maybe the guitar can just like be accentuating the snare. Like if you think about all those layers ahead of time and then hear it, I mean, if you could do this all at once, and then like, your band's just like fucking killer and locked in, and everyone knows how to layer against each other, and they're all thinking in one brain, which like happens like 10 times in the span of a century.
Right, like the Beatles, right?
Yeah, or like or like Led Zeppelin, like that. If everyone's the same brain, that can happen. But like you can do it as one person. You can think about it ahead of time, and then tell everybody like, okay, here we go. This is how we're gonna do
Yeah,
it.
be
and,
here, you be there.
and that's
You
yeah,
do that.
and that's how you learn, to become a band together over time. But as it's the best place to start from it at is one brain.
I see a lot of videos where they're like, oh, what sound engineers do, and they take, it's like, I guess it's like a meme, right, where the person is really bad, and then you go into the sound booth, and the person's
Yeah.
making them sound really good.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I can do that. I can do that to an extent.
Yeah.
But honestly,
Can't polish a turd though.
I mean, yeah, like it's gonna be rough if you're playing poorly.
Yeah.
So, it's about getting everyone on the same kind of idea, and
not stepping on each other's toes.
and executing. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's tough. I hate recording. I'm glad that you enjoy it. They enjoy it too. But
Yeah.
I hate recording.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
most drummers would agree. I'm not even gonna lie.
That they hate
I'm gonna say
recording?
that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's
I'm just gonna say that.
drums is the hardest thing to get into. I mean, you're talking about such a huge sound, and you're condensing it in such a small space.
Yeah, you can't really like. I mean, if you do an amazing job, if you can pick up on the dynamics of like the way the drums are played, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Because like, typically, the way that drums are recorded nowadays, they're very compressed, so you don't get those dynamics. You can't hear like the liveliness of it. That's why whenever you go
Yeah.
see a band perform live,
Oh yeah.
you feel it way more. You know what I'm
Yeah, it
saying?
blows people away.
Yeah,
And
it
they're
blows-
like, I don't even know what this is. And it's like, no, it's just live music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is just
Yeah.
how we sound raw.
yeah.
And then you're getting
Without
all of this,
compression.
yeah. And you're
Yeah.
getting all of like this other shit that it is what it is.
That's like it's weird. I'm not one of those artists that are like, oh, I can never listen to my own stuff. I'm not. I'll be honest. I enjoy my stuff. I do.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to brag or be like a fucking egotistical asshole. But it's just the truth. Like I
You
enjoy.
should. You have to
I-
enjoy it before anyone else does.
Yeah, I enjoy listening to it, and when I listen back, I'm like, this sounds a lot like how we sound live. You know what I'm saying? And
Nice.
I'm like, if we did that well, which I believe we did pretty well on the album, I think we did a good job, and I would say
Because the first few things we put out, people would say constantly that that's not how we sound live.
Oh yeah.
And it would throw them off because they would listen to that.
farted
and then they
into the mic.
I figure that's
You
what you
did?
just did. It didn't really sound like it
No,
though.
it's kind of like
he farted.
You have to throw a ton of delay on that.
Back in the day, that's what a lot of people would say.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's not how you guys sounded recorded. and that bugged me. Like I was like,
Sure.
well, no, I would want to sound exactly. Red Hot Chili Peppers sound exactly
Same live.
how they do live.
Yeah.
You know, you go see them and you're like, whoa, and then you listen to the recordings, you're like, whoa.
They talk about layering.
That's
It's-
what
I keep
someone
moving
told
this
us.
Table, I'm sorry.
Someone just recently told us that, which I know they were trying to give us a compliment, but
Yeah.
it wasn't necessarily. They were like, "Yeah, I've listened to that song on the recording, but live, it's it's way better." And I'm just like, "Fuck."
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I think
want to take that recording down from the fucking internet, and make sure that no one ever fucking hears it again when people say that.
Well,
shit.
I also think though, like, because someone told us that recently too. Like they saw our release show and they were like, you like it sounded even better live. No, I'm good.
Okay.
They said it sounded even better live, and that's hard to do. So like I know our album sounds good, and so I'm like, if someone tells me it sounds even better live, then I'm like, well, sick.
Wait, they thought that it's harder to make it sound better live, is what they
Yes.
thought? Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Wow.
Well, I think people. Actually, this came from a musician, I believe. But in general, if you get the compliment from someone who's not a musician, who's never recorded before, people have this idea that like you can do anything. There's like trickery in the studio or something like that.
Yeah.
Which like if anybody's ever recorded before, it's not like that. Like
No.
you can't just hit bing and then everything's fixed. Like
yeah.
there's the quantize, but
Well,
it
there's
just
a lot
doesn't
of
work
work.
that way.
Well, technically, like if, for example, like a drummer is fucking up, you can
Yeah.
technically, if it's a straightforward drum
I
part.
literally don't know how to quantize, so I just don't do it.
Wait, do you mean like kind of like a plug in
On
and
Pro
like
Tools.
paste and stuff? You don't know how to do that?
The quantize thing. There's a quantize
Yeah.
function.
Oh no, I
You
so-
copy and paste everything, and then you hit.
Are you talking about
quantize.
moving shit around?
No.
Yeah, that's what I've done.
That's what
yeah.
he's talking about. But I get what
Oh.
you're talking about. You
I
copy
just don't
and
like
paste the
doing it.
drums.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't do that. I mean, it's not organic.
It's
very,
hard to with drums too.
But it's that thing, right? You copy the whole drum, and then you hit quantize, and it's supposed to make it
yeah
on time.
Quantize supposed to make it on time.
But the thing is, you can't do that with natural drums. You can't, because it's like I messed up here at this
Yeah,
time,
right.
signature-ish thing or beat, but I messed up over here, completely different.
Right.
So it's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
I don't know.
Did you guys plug in a lot or no?
What do you mean?
Like
Punch in?
yeah, punch in.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, we'll do like parts, but when there was like a natural pause, like a lot of times, and a big reason that I do it is because I'll be writing the part as I'm recording it. So like I just don't know it that well, like so I'm like, okay. For me, it's just like if the end product sounds good, then who the hell cares?
Yeah.
Like
yeah, for sure.
like in When Alone, I was really trying to. Sometimes I'm like very crisp about it. I'm like, I need to do this as one. So like the guitar, the acoustic guitar, and vocal in When Alone is pretty much all one take, except like the woman, the very end. I was so frustrated that day. Like I kept screwing that up and I couldn't get it right, and so like that one's a bit chopped up. But there's so many instruments going on at that point
can't
that it's
even tell,
okay.
yeah.
But I needed but everything from the beginning of the song until that point is a one take.
I see it that way too. It's like if you can get it in one take, that's great. But there's also no point in
Making me
taking
feel
so
bad.
much time
Yeah.
to do it. If you can just make it sound right. Just
Yeah, sometimes it's not necessary. Like
It's not.
sometimes there's a huge break, like the guitar fades out, and then it's like another 5 seconds, and then it comes back in. And
Yeah.
It's like, who cares if
Yeah,
you punched
exactly.
in?
Yeah.
Like,
That's the weird thing. Like like personally, I feel the cleanest way to record, like in this, like me and Kenny have this conversation a lot because we listen. Like we feel. Well, no, that's not true actually, but we feel like for us, since we mixed, the album and the EPs
Yeah.
ourselves, the easiest way to mix. Jesus Christ.
Thanks.
The easiest way to mix is to literally separate tracks, like I was mentioning earlier with the effects and stuff like that. So like we would literally record, this is the distortion guitar here. Distortion. This is the delay part here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would just like literally separate.
well, and not only for that reason, but also, then you're only adding things you need. So there might be a situation where, I mean, obviously you're dealing with less guitars live, but like you're separating things out and you're only doing things that you have to do.
Yeah.
For the recording,
Yeah.
for the sake of the song.
Yeah. Exactly.
I have to pee really bad.
Me too. Let's
My
pause it.
bladder is
Let's pause it.
blowing up.
We should wrap it up.
We should probably wrap it up.
Wow.
It's
What
like
time
we're
are
at
we
like an
at?
hour and a half.
We're at 88 minutes.
Oh, okay, that's pretty
Hour
good.
and a half.
It's an
Hour
hour
and a half.
Yeah, almost an hour and a
Okay.
half. Yeah, all right, we can wrap it up.
Oh, we can.
Well,
Thanks, bro.
how about before we wrap it up, because I could talk to you for hours and hours.
We keep talking when we're done recording.
Exactly.
I guess mention where you can get Fail to Learn and
You can get it at jordanesker.bandcamp.com, which is Jordan with an A-N and then E-S-K-E-R, like the land formation formed by glacial deposits. It's a
Right.
real word.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What about physically?
Physically, you can order at Bandcamp, actually. Or right now, we have at the recording of this podcast, we have it at Daddy Cool Records in St. Pete, and then also at Microgroove Records in Seminole Heights in Tampa.
Nice.
And we're going to put it at a few more record stores as well. So, but if it's not there and you make the trip, I'm sorry, but you can get it at our Bandcamp.
Well, if
For
it's
all
not
time.
there, that's good news for
That's
you.
good news.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Or it's not because I had to reclaim it because they didn't sell any.
Ah. That's not gonna be.
Sample that.
Sample
You
it.
got to do a screamo band.
I'm definitely gonna add effects to all that stuff.
I'm
but-
going to pee all over your Focus, right?
Yes, do it. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming, man. And
Thank you.
We'll have you on again soon. So
Okay.
Bye.
Tomorrow?
Bye, everybody.
All right.
Tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.
Love you guys. Bye. Fuck you. Bye.
Bye.